Well, hello and welcome back to math. I'm so excited for us to get going on our lesson 18. We're going to continue moving forward in mod 1. Would be great to get our blue book done so we can get into that beautiful yellow math book. Today in lesson 18, we're going to be finding a rate by dividing two quantities. Now remember, a rate is a ratio between two related quantities in different units. So we're kind of comparing things. So for example, here we're comparing burgers to minutes. Down here we're going to talk about words per second. We have that per we like to use. A lot of times we'll use that slash for per. And remember, per means we're comparing to 1 second. And up here we're going to compare to 1 minute. All right, great. Well, let's get started. We're going to probably need a calculator if you have one. Otherwise, you can stop and kind of solve the problems off to the side. I'm going to do proportions today as we try and solve some of these rate problems, which we're going to interpret a rate by two quantities, and we're going to kind of set them up as a fraction. All right? So I think once we get started, you guys will be like, oh, yeah, I remember how to do this. Let's go ahead and start with number 1. At Fun Burger, the burger master can make hamburgers at a rate of, here's our rate, 4 burgers per how many minutes? 1 minute. In order to address the heavy volume of customers, he needs to continue at this rate for, 30 minutes. If he continues to make hamburgers at this pace, how many hamburgers will the burger master make in 30 minutes? Now, some of us know we can just go ahead and multiply and solve it real simple, but I'm going to go ahead and set up a proportion just so we can keep practicing those. Now, remember, we're comparing burgers. We'll put burg on top. Remember, burgers compared to minutes. And then, of course, we have to continue the exact same thing over here. We're doing 4 burgers per 1 minute. So we'll put here 4 burgers per 1 minute. That has to stay together. This ratio goes together. Now we're going to say 30 minutes. So we're going to put 30 down here. Okay, very good. Oh, this proportion is an easy one. We take 1 times 30 to get 30. So obviously up here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take 4 times 30. Most of us know that when we multiply like this, we can take 4 times 3, which is 12, and then we add our 0. So if he continues to make hamburgers at this pace, how many hamburgers will the burger master make in 30 minutes? Our answer is 120 burgers. Very good. Let's go ahead and move down to number 2. Moving along quickly. Chandra is an editor at the New York Gazette. Her job is to read each article before it is printed in the newspaper. If Chandra can read 10 books per second, how many words can she read in 60 seconds? Most of us know we're just going to multiply, but let's go ahead and set up our proportion. So we know it's 10 words, because it's our fraction here, per 1 second. Here's our rate. We're going to keep words on top, seconds on bottom. We want to go to 60 seconds. Obviously, we're going to take 1 times 60, which means we're going to do the same thing up here. Do you know the trick how to do this without a calculator? Let's see. 1 times 6 is 6, and then we get to add 2 zeros. So, how many words can she read in 60 seconds? 600 words. That's a lot of words. Can you guys read that many words? All right, let's flip over to the next page. Now, you're going to notice on the next page, you have to be in the video to know the problems because you don't have them. It's blank. So I'm going to give you the first one, problem number 1. I'm going to set it up here. I'm going to see if you can, let's do the first one actually together so we know how to put it in the box. So our problem says Michelle works for a publishing firm. She is considered an average typist and can type 52 words per minute. So here's our rate. If she continues at this rate, how many words would it take Michelle to type 104 words? Now, most of you are learning. We're going to set up our proportion right up here. We're going to do 52 words per minute per 1 minute. So we're going to keep it words on top and minute on bottom. We want to know how many minutes would it take Michelle to type 104 words. So 104 words. This one's going to take a little bit more thinking. How do we solve this proportion? Well, there's two ways to solve it. One is I can see if 52 can multiply to make 104. The other thing I can do is cross multiply 104 times 1 and divide by 52. Well, since I know 52 times 2 is 104, I'm going to just multiply down here times 2 to find out. My answer is how many minutes? My answer is 2 minutes. Final answer. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Remember, you got to be paying attention because I'm going to show you the problems. Number 2, I'm going to put it up here, and I would like for you to pause the video and see if you can solve number 2. Daniel test drives cars for a car company. Part of his job is to test the cruise control on a testing course. On his last test drive, Daniel set the cruise control at 48 miles per hour and drove for 2 hours. How many miles did Daniel drive? See if you can solve my problem. Pause the video. All right, so here's our proportion. We had here 48 miles per 1 hour, and it says he went 2 hours. Well, I solved it by doing this. I found out 1 times 2 is 2, so I took 48 times 2, and I found out that Daniel went 96 miles. Great. All right, let's move on to problem number 3. Once again, pause your video and see if you can solve problem number 3. To train for an upcoming marathon, Anton runs 9 miles a day. If Anton runs 9 miles every day for 39 days, how many total miles will he run? Ooh, how am I going to solve this problem? You may begin. All right, so if you notice what I did was I took, it says Anton runs 9 miles a day. That was my rate, so I did 9 miles a day. And then it says if Anton runs 9 miles every day for 39 days, so I did 39 here. I found out that if I could do this, I know that 1 times 39 is 9. I made this one a little bit more challenging because this one didn't have a 0. So then I had to take 9 times 39. Hopefully you were able to take 9 times 39, and if you did, you got an answer of 351 miles. Some of you actually read the problem and knew that all you needed to do was take 39 times 9 this way, and so you might have done that as well. Okay, great. You guys are doing awesome. Let's move on to problem number 4. Problem number 4 is this one. Problem number 4 says, a library just hired Peyton to write reviews on different books. The job requires Peyton to read 3 books per week. If Peyton reads a total of 36 books, how many weeks will she work? Go ahead and see if you can pause your video and solve my problem. All right, so I set up my proportion like this. 3 books per 1 week. I put books on top, weeks on bottom still, and it says she read 36 books. Now I could either cross multiply like this, 36 times 1, and divide by 3. If I took 36 times 1, that's 36. And if I divided by 3, I know that that equals 12 weeks. Now some of you actually knew that you could multiply 3 times 12 up here. And then you could have done, whoops, let's get that times 12 a little bit. My pen's going out there. Sorry about that. Some of you, well, that's pretty messy, knew that you could multiply times 12 down here. Boy, you guys are doing awesome. We only have 2 more problems left. Let's see what 2 problems Mrs. Houck has here for us. All right, problem number 5. Notebooks are on sale for 4 notebooks per $1. Miss McBride wants to buy notebooks for her students, but only has $12 to spend. How many notebooks can Miss McBride buy? Pause your video so you can solve the problem. All right, so this is how I set up my proportion. I said that there are 4 notebooks per $1. Miss McBride has $12, so I had to make sure the 12 stayed on the bottom with the dollars. If I notice here, there's two ways we can always cross multiply. 12 times 4, which is 48. And divide it by 1, which is obviously 48 notebooks. Some of you also went this way and said, oh, well, this is 1 times 12. Oh, another 12. So you took 4 times 12 up here. Same answer. Last problem for you to solve. Last one. Oops, let's see if I can get number 6 down here for you. Cruz hopes to earn a college basketball scholarship. To improve his shooting skills, Cruz shoots 50 baskets per day. If Cruz shoots 50 baskets every day for 60 days, how many shots would Cruz take? Pause the video and solve our last problem. All right, so I set up another proportion here. I did 50 baskets per day, and I had over here my baskets and days, and he's going to shoot for 60 days. Remember, two ways to solve proportions. We can either go across like this, 1 times 60. So now I have to do the same thing on the top. Times, let's change that 12 now to a 60. Oh, I can still do this without a calculator. 5 times 6 is 30. However, I have 2 extra zeros, so my answer is 3,000 baskets. So if Cruz shoots 50 baskets every day for 60 days, how many shots would he take? 3,000 baskets. Okay, well, I hope you feel a little bit more comfortable on solving a few of these rate problems. I like to do proportions just because it's a little bit easier for me to visualize and see them. So have fun filling in your homework today, and I will see you all tomorrow.